the neck has proven to not be accurate. There was a major hump at the heel of the neck, so I took it out. I took out the piece that I had in there. So now what I'm going to do is I measured the gap that you probably can't see at the moment. I measured that gap, and I'm going to make some shims straight down, and then I'll cut out the length. See, because then I'll just cut it to length. That way it'll be a solid piece, and it will carry more sound, etc. So the theory is that if I have one piece throughout, it's going to stay flat, and I'm fairly positive this time that that will work, because the last time I only had a little piece at the butt back here, and it just created such an angle that I would have had to take the frets all the way down, and obviously that's not going to work. And it didn't work because all the strings were dead past the 17th fret. This is extremely inaccurate, but my table saw creates way too much dust for my family to handle, and it's winter outside. Alright, so I cut a piece off of this block here, and I'm going to shave it to length, put it under the neck, and as I said, it was extremely inaccurate. These holes, you can see this thing is made of plastic, and these holes have warped. So this is not, real straight. One end is thicker than the other, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that to my advantage, and I'm going to put the thick end under the high E string, and and that's actually a practice that's done. So as I said, I'm going to cut it to length and see how it goes from there. Alright, I trimmed it to length, putting the thicker side of the shim on the high E side. I'm going to have to make a couple of notches for the screw holes. I'm butting it right up against the base of the wood up here. And I'm labeling low E side. Basically anything like an X-Acto knife, or even a chisel and a hammer, anything will do it. Okay, the shim fits, but basically just exaggerated the situation. You can see the strings. they're quite far from the neck frets, and we need them lower than that. So what I need to do is take the angle down on that shim to almost 0 by the time it gets to the end here. Basically what I need here is something. This is just an exaggerated example. This is a house shim. You know, any type of shim you can get at a hardware store. And just got this out to show you what I mean. Yeah, I need the taper. I need it to taper like this. And with my equipment, that's basically impossible. I'm just gonna have to sand it down, I guess. Until it gets somewhere near close. Alright, so I've taken a planer, just a carpentry planer. It's a real shoddy one, you know, hardware store, beginner type crap. And I've thinned it off on one side. So we're going to try this all over again. Alright, I got the shim close enough that I'm pretty much impressed myself it was close enough. So for this guitar, it's darn good. I mean, if you've heard anything that I've done on this guitar, it's a piece of junk, and I'm not real concerned about it. So this is actually an impressive difference. So now I got it up to pitch. Going to adjust the pups and adjust for octave pitch. While I was editing this video series, I realized that I didn't tell you how I was checking for clearance on the frets. Basically, all I was doing was I had a sheet of notepaper, you know, simple notepaper, and if you can fit the paper between the string and the fret all the way up to the one that you're holding, that's probably good enough. If it gets caught, you know, like if it gets caught at a fret before it touches your finger, the fret that your finger's on, then that's the fret that you need to shave down a little bit. Now, I had some regular old sandpaper that I cut into a strip, and I put it on the end of a popsicle, and I was, you know, going up and down under whichever string I was at. And then when they were really aggressively high, I was using just some regular old files that you can find at you know, any hardware store, because I haven't purchased the StuMac ones yet. I'm just too damn cheap. So anyway, you can do all of this with just, you know, hardware store stuff. For now, I think there's another high spot. Not quite certain. There's definitely one. Alright, I got the dead spots down, and there's maybe 2 spots that I can hear acoustically, but once it's plugged in, won't be able to play them. And besides, I don't play guitar well enough to go that high up on the register anyway. So I'm going to replace these strings and moisten the neck with some lemon oil again. Keep in mind when you stain anything, get some vinyl gloves, plastic gloves, wherever you want to call them, and just keep in mind that you get what you pay for. These particular gloves, they're pretty worthless, and for instance, I used them on my snowblower and I can smell gas on my hands after I use them. So, as I said, they're pretty worthless. Alright, I have lemon oil from Stuart McDonald, color tone lemon oil. It's already been done on this fretboard once, but this fretboard is 10 years old, and that was the very first time, so it soaked it in pretty hard and it needs it again. Make sure you've got ventilation. This really doesn't take much. It smells terrible, but does a great job. Try not to breathe it in. I also keep this rag in a cat litter box that's obviously empty. One of those plastic ones that's resealable, you know. Since this is in my house, I don't want these fumes getting out consistently, you know. Let me show you the difference. I'm sure you'll be able to see it, but I can't see the difference right now. Oh, there it is.
And this is the last thing I'm going to put out on this guitar, I believe. If you've watched any of this series, you know this thing's a piece of junk and don't buy one, and I only bought it because I didn't know anything at the time about guitars. So, but if you want to just buy something to experiment with and get some practice on, you know, you're not really wasting a lot of money to buy one of these if that's the purpose. Most used guitars, you know, you can buy for $75 to $85, $75 to $100. So, depending on your financial situation, would depend on whether you think it's a waste of money or if you just want to spend 3 times as much taking it to a luthier. Alright, this is what it looks like when it's still wet from color tone lemon oil. Now I'm going to wipe down the excess. Alright, I've got the lemon oil, color tone lemon oil on it, and the new set of strings. Got it up to pitch and it's already going flat, so I'm going to let the strings, you know, it's a new set of strings, so it's going to go flat a couple times before it holds tune.